For those who don't know me, I'm Mel Kanarek from Sheffield Digital, and this is my guest, Dan Brookman. Dan is the Chief Executive of Airship and Toggle. Airship is a CRM platform for the hospitality sector and provides data-driven loyalty. And Toggle is a hospitality commerce platform, so it allows retailers, hospitality venues to do things like gift cards and sell experiences and that kind of thing. But Airship actually started life over 20 years ago as an SMS service for nightclubs and bars. Then it evolved into a full service agency for the hospitality sector, and then it became the tech platform that it is today. And Toggle, which is the sister company, was created in 2018. Now, I got to know Dan a year ago when he and his colleague Andrew Whiteley came on the Sheffield Digital podcast to talk about how they took Airship from being a lifestyle business to a scale-up with investment and a plan for an exit. An awful lot has happened since then, and that's what we're going to cover this evening. So, welcome to Dan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So, if we can go back to 2018, when the business wasn't really in a good place, you put a post-it note up on the wall that said, "We will never sell another hour."
Yep.
Why was that, and what changes did you need to make in the business?
Okay, so hello, good evening everybody. So in 2018 we were 32 individuals. We were working up at Park Hill. We own an office building up there at the Park Hill Flats. And we were an agency, a full service agency. I live and breathe hospitality. That's my life and has been. I'm an ex-pub landlord. And you know, it's all I've ever done. And I used to sit in boardrooms and dream up magnificent campaigns. I thought they were magnificent campaigns for hospitality brands across the country. We worked for Heineken and Diageo. We worked for Revolution bars and lots of restaurant chains. We'd come up with their loyalty and rewards. But in 2018, our largest customer, which was Bargain Booze at the time, which was about £500,000 retainer, they went bust. And they went bust spectacularly in about 6 weeks. So they went from a darling of the industry to a little bit like a Carillion or a Patisserie Valerie, where they went from a massive valuation to a mistake on a spreadsheet and a zero in the wrong place and a Grant Thornton fuck up and basically unravelled at a rapid speed. We lost a £500,000 contract in 4 weeks. At the same time, Revolution bars were going through a change of management and board. They were £250,000 a year to us, and they pulled their contract from us for supported services. I think at the time we were about 7 years in of being an agency, maybe a bit longer than that actually. And it was hard work. It's a real slog selling hours. My business partner and co-founder stepped down and said he couldn't save the business. And I stepped in to see if I could. And we stopped. And my first action was to write this post-it note, put it on the wall. And people kept saying to me, "We need to make a decision, we need to make a decision." And that was my decision. I put this post-it note on the wall and said, "We're stopping selling hours." And that's what we did. And we had to let go 70% of our workforce because they were designers and content writers and social media experts and everything in between. We had to let them go. We had to let them go anyway because we were going to fail. We didn't have any reserves. We were running as a lifestyle business and had been for 15 years prior to that, running as a lifestyle business and enjoying it and taking good holidays and taking a good salary out of the business. And every time we signed a contract, we'd hired some staff to fulfill a contract. And it's just hard work. So I didn't want to do it anymore, and that's why we changed.
So then we fast forward to 2019 and then again in 2021,
Yep.
and each time you've raised 500,000 from Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund, Mercia Asset Finance, Equity Finance, sorry. In order to be able to attract that kind of business, what sort of things had to happen within the company?
Okay, so the period from 2018 to 19 was about survival. We wrote a business plan and presented it to Mercia and they gave us the $500,000, 2 million valuation. And the whole process took about 8 months for them to give that money to us. During that time, we were supported by HMRC, and I quite like saying this, but HMRC, because we were in really good communication with them, I met with the guy who was the debt collector literally every month for 14 months to explain our situation to him and let him know where we were at and where the business was at. And we were winning contracts under our new proposition, and we were winning with people like Lyon, the fast food operator. And you know, lots of other operators were buying us, and we changed our proposition. And Mercia liked this. They liked the fact that we had a good reputation. They liked the fact that we had an okay base. We had 40 customers at the time that we kept on, who were just paying us a license fee that we weren't actually selling hours to. And in 2019, we got the investment in October 2019. We scaled up and started selling Toggle, which was our new platform, the gifting platform. And to bring you to 2021, we took a risk. I took some quick, dirty decisions when the pandemic struck. And one of those decisions was to give away Toggle for free. So Toggle, the website, you can go to it, you can sign up, you can build a gift shop, you can attach a payment provider, you can sell a gift card, and you can redeem a gift card. You can do that in 30 minutes. And that's, you know, the front of the business plan said that we wanted to be the MailChimp of gifting. And when the pandemic came around, we gave it away for free. And I went on LinkedIn, which is our main platform for sales growth. And I just said, fuck this. I'm not going to fail because of the pandemic. If anybody wants the platform, just go for it. And we had 180 brands sign up, and we did 5.5 million in revenue for closed businesses without charging a penny. And this gave us a massive base, but more importantly, it gave us a voice and a respect in the sector that you just couldn't, you know, it would be very hard to do today. So we built the base, and then in July 2020, when Boris announced the track and trace, I've got an amazing Brazilian developer called Alison who's over in Liverpool, and he built us a track and trace in 4 days. And because we're a data processing house under Airship, we knew how to handle data compliantly and cleverly and quickly. We rolled out that track and trace to 16,000 locations across the UK and Denmark in 4 weeks. We were in Wetherspoons, Costa, Nero, every Denmark train station, Copenhagen Zoo, all over. And I ended up talking to the NHS Digital about their track and trace, and it was just mental, you know. But so we did this track and trace, and we had a voice in the sector, and we were able to sell something that people needed, and we sold it without profiteering. We sold it at a sensible price, and that gave us another base. So Mercia, after making, they went through their 480 investments, and I think they put a line through it, said, these are mud. And they certainly rang me up and said, look, we love you, but we're not going to give you any more money. So they were then very surprised that we managed to turn it around. And I took a further, because we were on such an acceleration then of growth, I took a further $500,000 from them investment, I think at a 4 million or a 6 million valuation, that second round of investment. Yeah.
Fantastic. So back in 2018, you said that you were already starting to think about an exit, that the plan was to have an exit, and you achieved that earlier this year with the sale to Zonal. But you've also described it as the hardest thing you've ever done. So I've got a load of questions to sort of dig into that a little bit.
There's only one answer to it.
What's the answer?
Lawyers.
Lawyers. Okay, well we'll save lawyers till the end. let's do the happier stuff,
okay,
maybe.
Okay.
How did you know when the business was ready to be sold?
Well, we had a number. So we had a number in our heads. I had a personal number in my head as to what my exit value wanted to be. When you get onto the SaaS model, it's ARR and it's a multiplier, and you know where you're tracking. You know, it's a very straightforward model as to what you'll get, either EBITDA or revenue. Ours was a revenue model. So as soon as you tip over the 2 million ARR mark, you know that you're into double digits, millions as far as valuations, and then it becomes sort of more interesting. Mm-hmm. When we wrote the business plan, we had 4 companies or 5 companies on the front page of the business plan as the people that would buy us. So we knew who we were going to sell to at the outset, which again was really important because it leads the strategy.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question, was like, when did you start looking for a purchaser, and what were you looking for in that purchaser? But you thought of that right at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We had 4 purchase types at the start. We had financial services. Toggle will do 40 million this year. So card processing companies like PayPal and Stripe, Freedom Pay, were always going to be attractive to us. We're a data processor. So data insight businesses were going to be a target. We're a hospitality tech company, so EPOS businesses that provide till systems to hospitality were always going to be a target as well. So we knew who we were going to go and talk to.
And with Zonal, who were the company that did acquire you,
yep.
Did you have an existing relationship with them?
They were our nemesis, actually. So they were the company that blocked us every turn, integrating with them and talking to their customers. Because in 2018, they, 4 years prior to that, they'd already purchased a business like us, tried to integrate that business, but they'd failed doing it. So we did have a relationship with them, and we did have an integration with them, which was a forced integration by one of their larger customers.
And I think you employ about 40 people now, is that right?
Yep.
How did you sort of bring them along with you on what could be quite a scary journey, really?
I'm a crap liar. So I find it much easier to lead the business transparently. I can't keep secrets. I just can't keep secrets. I mean, I don't work on an open plan room because I'm too much of a distraction. I get in the way, so I have an office. But we gave 15% away of the company, of the shares, and created an EMI scheme, which turned out to be really, really hard work when we came to sell, truthfully. But we had an EMI scheme. Every new joiner that joined the business would get a couple of shares, and we then did a further release when we did the second investment round. But we have briefings, and because we were in distress, when you're in distress as a business, the team know you're in distress. They know personally that you're in distress. They know the businesses, and you've got to keep them before they leave you, because if they leave you, you lose the foundation of your business, and it makes it harder to survive. So from the outset, from the day that I made 70% of the team redundant to the day I sold, everybody knew exactly where we were at all times. We hired 6 people under the Kickstart scheme that the government threw up in the pandemic. Even they got shares. And I sat in the job centre and interviewed people, did live interviews with people and gave people jobs and then gave them shares. So everybody came on the journey with us. Everyone was on the bus. Yeah, it was, and it makes life much easier, transparency, for me.
Yeah. So now that the sale has gone through, what's changed, or has it not changed?
It's not changed, really. I don't wake up at 6 and check the Barclays Bank and work out my cash runway, which I pretty much did every day, because when you're growing, we weren't profitable when we sold the business, okay? So we were in mega growth, and we're still in mega growth today. We win 1, 2, 3 customers a day, every day. Not little customers either, quite big customers. And, when you're running the business and you're taking investment and you're high growth, it's a certain trajectory that you've got to be on top of it. You've got to be in complete control of it. Because if things come along and trip you up, they set you back. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit of micromanagement around the finances. So what's changed? I don't look at the bank. The finance function within our company now reports to my new masters, Zonal. I go to more dinners. I feel more empowered, and I have a seat at the table. On Monday evening, for instance, I was in London. I was in Heron Tower, Sushi Samba, which is an amazing restaurant, 40 floors up. I was sat at a single dining table with 30 CEOs from some of the biggest hospitality businesses. They were keen to hear what I had to say, and that's a new thing, because usually they wouldn't be as keen to hear from a supplier to the business rather than their peers within the business. So that's been quite a big change. But the company bought us because we have quite a cool culture. We're very fun, they're very dry. We're a bit tongue-in-cheek with our marketing and how we approach things. We're very SaaS, and they aren't, and they want that. So that nothing's really changed. It's, you know, as long as I don't screw up, they'll leave us alone. If I start screwing up, they'll come in and protect their asset.
Mm. And I've got two more questions, and we're going to try and round them into 3 minutes. The first one is, what does the future look like for the business and for you?
Okay, so for the business, we'll hit about 6 million in 2023 of ARR. We aim to double that to 12 million. We'll go to the US. They have a base in the US. So I'm quite looking forward to trips to Orlando and Miami. We'll just keep accelerating. As I said, at the start of this, I live and breathe hospitality. I think hospitality tech has got a real long way to go. It needs to compete with retail and e-commerce for people's hard-earned money. We need to keep encouraging people to go out and meet and socialise and, you know, get out of their homes. So I'm focused on building out hospitality tech with Zonal and making the business, you know, carry on. The budget that was in the SPA takes us to 84 staff in the, you know, so another 40 staff in the next year, all based out of Sheffield. So, you know, I'm quite looking forward to not having to worry about the cash and seeing what I can do without that. And for me personally, I'm talking to North Invest. I'm a trustee of the Airship project in Sheffield. I'm a director of Printed by Us, which is their social enterprise. I joined in the spring, so I'm exercising my brain in a slightly different way and seeing if I can have an impact within their charity. I'm quite enjoying that. I pledged a percentage of my of the money that I got for selling my shares to that charity. That's already done some good. So I'm heading up something called The Pledge, which is like a charity where I'm going to talk to local businesses about pledging a percentage of their profits or sales or whatever they can afford on an ongoing basis to help homeless people. And, you know, they don't have an entrepreneur on their board. So I'm going to see if I can do something for them. Okay.
And the last question, what piece of advice would you give to someone who was thinking about doing the same as you've done?
Yeah, I think it's having a benchmark. I think it's having a success, you know, bank a success. This is my 14th company. I started when I was 19, 18 or something like that. And the businesses that I've had, and I've owned live music venues, I've had record labels, I've had tech businesses. I've never had a success because I've never chased a goal and never had a goal. And if you have a, you know, Wetherspoons tried to buy one of my pubs when I was about 26 and they offered me £1 million. And I turned them down because they didn't like live music. I did it. My dad nearly punched me. So that was an error. You know, I should have taken their money and opened one next door, you know. So have a goal and have a success and move on from it, if you like. I think, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, they build something like, oh no, that's it, it's all mine, I'm going to do this forever. Rubbish. You know, have the success and move on and build a new team and do something again. And if you don't have to, you know, never had any money, now I've got some money, and it's kind of liberating.
Wonderful. Well, I think on that note, 11 seconds over. Please will you all big round of applause for Dan.